Ephesians chapter 2. You used to be dead because of your sins and acts of disobedience. You walked in the ways of the olam, hazeh, and obeyed the ruler of the powers of the air, who is still at work among the disobedient. Indeed, we all once lived this way. We followed the passions of our old nature and obeyed the wishes of our old nature and our thoughts. In our natural condition, we were headed for God's wrath, just like everyone else. But God is so rich in mercy and loves us with such intense love that even when we were dead because of our acts of disobedience, He brought us to life along with the Messiah. It is by grace that you have been delivered. That is, God raised us up with the Messiah, Yeshua, and seated us with Him in heaven, in order to exhibit in the ages to come how infinitely rich is His grace, how great is His kindness toward us who are united with the Messiah, Yeshua. For you have been delivered by grace through trusting, and even this is not your accomplishment, but God's gift. You are not delivered by your own actions, therefore no one should boast. For we are of God's making, created in union with the Messiah, Yeshua, for a life of good actions, already prepared by God for us to do. Therefore remember your former state, you Gentiles by birth, called the uncircumcised by those who, merely because of an operation on their flesh, are called the circumcised, at that time had no Messiah. You were estranged from the national life of Israel. You were foreigners to the covenants embodying God's promise. You were in this world without hope and without God. But now you who were once far off have been brought near through the shedding of the Messiah's blood. For He Himself is our shalom. He has made us both one and has broken down the mechitza which divided us, by destroying in His own body the enmity occasioned by the Torah, with its commands set forth in the form of ordinances. He did this in order to create in union with Himself from the two groups a single new humanity, and thus make shalom, and in order to reconcile to God both in a single body by being executed on a stake as a criminal, and thus in Himself killing that enmity. Also when He came, He announced as good news shalom to you far off, and shalom to those nearby. News that through Him we both have access in one Spirit to the Father. So then you are no longer foreigners and strangers. On the contrary, you are fellow citizens with God's people and members of God's family. You have been built on the foundation of the emissaries and the prophets, with the cornerstone being Yeshua the Messiah Himself. In union with Him, the whole building is held together, and it is growing into a holy temple in union with the Lord. Yes, in union with Him, you yourselves are being built together into a spiritual dwelling place for God. End of Ephesians chapter 2.